Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer Reed. I'm the director of BSU Senior College. Welcome to our Fall 2025 Faculty Showcase. The format of today's event will be, I have some things I'd like to highlight about Senior College, who we are, how it works. And I will let you also know a little bit about some upcoming free and open to the public events that we have, but then we'll just get right into the conversations that we're having with our faculty. And so for the faculty that are here today, remember the format is you have about 3 to 5 minutes. I know some of you teach multiple courses, so that's hard. Just do the best you can. You do not have to say every single thing that you will cover in your course. Maybe what would be helpful if you could introduce yourself and just let us know who you are and sort of how you came to senior college. And also if you could then maybe say one thing that your folks will learn from your class, or maybe you could share the format of your class too. That would be really helpful. So I know you all like to get it all in there and share everything, but really the format of this event is that we want to just give people a little taste or a little teaser about what they can hope to learn if they choose to take a class with you. So does that sound good? All right, so a little bit about senior college for, could I just see oh, actually, what'd be really helpful for us is if you could put in the chat your name, where you're zooming in from today, and then maybe just one unique talent that you have. Maybe you can juggle, maybe you can speak a foreign language, maybe you've traveled somewhere unique this summer. Anything you want to share in the chat, I think that would be helpful to let us get to know you. So your name, where you're from, and then something unique about that makes you you. I would love to see those roll in as we're chit-chatting today. Um, okay, so senior college, for anyone that is new to our community, is a lifelong learning program for older adults here at Bridgewater State University. We started in the fall of 2019. And at the bequest of some of our active, engaged members, I see one of them here on the screen today, Evelyn DeLutis, and also Gloria Moran. They spent many years on your behalf, although you didn't know it yet, pounding the pavement in Boyden Hall, storming the steps and asking our President Clark if he would support the university offering this program. And thankfully, he listened, as he often does, to Gloria and Evelyn. He calls them his bosses, which is nice. And I think they're my bosses too. And he filtered down to me, this mid-level manager. And I have now the luckiest, most special job on our campus in that I get to work in this program. And I work with my colleagues, Kara Marks, who's here on the screen. Many of you know Kara. She's wonderful in helping with all the logistics and things that we do here in senior college. And also, of course, Linda McNeely, who does a lot behind the scenes, part-time for senior college as well. And Darlene, too. I don't think Darlene's here on the screen today, or I can't see her on my screen. So Darlene Mark. So thanks to everyone. It's a major team effort that we do in senior college. We have courses that we offer on a short-term basis. This semester, we have 64 courses. It's our biggest semester yet. 32 of the courses are offered on Zoom. So like this format that you see here, and the other 32 courses are offered in person. And we have locations in Bridgewater at the public library, on our physical campus here in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. We also have classes in Plymouth at the Center for Active Living, and they are a wonderful partner to us. We also have courses at Hingham in the Center for Active Living. They're a great partner to us as well. And this semester, for the first time, we'll be at BSU Attleboro, which is located in Attleboro on 11 Field Road. That's a co-located site with Bristol Community College, if you're familiar with that area. So we're really excited. We have really great classes planned for Attleboro. And then I'm excited to announce that come spring 2026, we'll have classes in Sandwich, Mass, at the Center for Active Living. That's a beautiful brand new facility. And I have a meeting this week to determine a new location right near our campus, minutes away from our campus. That might be really, really great, but I can't announce it yet. But stay tuned for more information on that as well. So I'm excited about this new possibility. And that was brought to me by one of our senior college members, which is really exciting. So the courses that are offered on Zoom are often recorded, which is a really nice member benefit. So if you're enrolled in the course and you get busy and you can't attend the course live at the time that it's offered, so say it's Tuesday mornings at 10, say something comes up and you miss the class, you can go back later and watch it. Our membership fee is $95 a semester. You can take up to 7 courses for $95. Our value is greater than any other lifelong learning program in New England. The way that we've structured the pricing is much, much more affordable than other comparable programs. The reason for that is because it's a mission-driven program. So we are just doing our best to sort of collect enough revenue to, to cover the basic expenses, but the institution financially supports the program itself, which is really helpful to all of us, of course. And the nice thing is when you enroll in those 7 courses, you could enroll in all 7 in person, and you could still watch the Zoom recordings for courses you're not enrolled in. So that's a secret, like I don't know, an Easter egg. So you can maybe take all your 7 courses, but then there's a couple more you're interested in. You can watch them anytime. And then the nice thing is if there's someone in the class that maybe talks a little bit too much, you can just fast forward. It's really nice. It's like video on demand. So that's a little tip and trick that I will share with all of you. Our instructors are incredible. They bring a wide variety of expertise. Many of them are full-time faculty, tenured faculty here at the institution. Many are part-time faculty. We even draw from our talented staff. And then we have quite a few instructors that have just come to us through the community. So they might be faculty who are teaching at other institutions. We have faculty who are not even, here in Massachusetts, but are incredibly talented. So through the power of Zoom, we're able to really bring in some exciting, great talent to our community through Zoom classes. So we have all kinds of great faculty. And some of our faculty have come in and they've been members of senior college, and then they reveal themselves to be these wonderful experts. And I'm thinking of, one of our most beloved faculty members, Ron Reynolds. He was a member of senior college, and then of course I found out that he was an educator for 40 plus years in various capacities, both at the college and high school level. So our faculty are truly the heart and the soul of our program. Of course, the other part is all of our members. There's so much socialization and conversation that happens, and people meet new friends, and those friendships often extend outside of the classroom, which really contributes to this sense of belonging that people have in our community. So if you're new, I invite you in, and don't be shy. And if you have any questions, you can certainly pop them in the chat. We have let's see. Also benefits are our campus amenities. Included in your $95 membership is the ability to get a free parking sticker if you're interested. So if you live local and you want to be, coming to the campus, you can get a free parking sticker. You can also get access to our state-of-the-art fitness center, which is beautiful. That's free. That is included in your membership. So keep that in mind if you're a local person. You can also use our library services, the Maxwell Library, including an electronic subscription to the New York Times. I know a lot of folks take advantage of that. There's an app that you can get for your phone to the New York Times if you use your official Bridgewater State University credentials, so your email and password to sign up for that benefit. Once you join, in a few weeks, you'll be getting more information about that process from Linda McNeely, who's here on the screen with us today. So look for that. We have some special events coming up. Oh, we also have our popular Happy Yappy Hour, which is a free Zoom Happy Yappy Hour. It's Friday nights at 6. Is that what time is it? Yeah, Friday nights. Is it every Friday or every other Friday? Every other Friday, I see Linda. So every other Friday night, a group of our members get on and they have a blast, and it's just an informal. You can bring a cocktail or a mocktail or a cup of tea or whatever you prefer, and they get on and have a grand old time. And actually, I think they did it all summer long, right, Evie? I think so. Yeah, and I see Diane with her thumbs up, so that's great. So all kinds of fun things that we do in senior college. Um, We have some events coming up. Oh, wait, let me just mention that affordability. If you'd like to join senior college, but you are on a fixed income and the membership fee is prohibitive in any way, all you have to do is email Kara Marks and let her know that you would like to claim a scholarship, and you can have one, no questions asked. So if you have a friend or a neighbor who you think might enjoy senior college, but maybe the fee is if they can't afford the fee, then just let them know. We'd love to welcome them into our community. Also, if you're 90 or older, you can have a free lifetime membership to senior college as well. So let me know if any of you fall within that category. Okay, free events coming up. We have an Ask the Scholar speaker series, and Kara's going to put some things in the chat here. That's with Dr. David Crane. He's the Dean of the College of Continuing Studies here at Bridgewater State University. And it's on Tolkien as Anglo-Saxonist, the influence of early medieval language and material culture on The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I realize this is a little niche, but this man's been my boss for 10 years now. So I have been very curious about his background as a medieval historian. And so I'll be there because I'm dying to know. We work together in continuing studies, but of course we all, have our specializations. So we're going to learn more about his. And I think it'll be really interesting. If you know of anyone that's a Lord of the Rings fan, please forward them the link, let them know. Maybe you have a young grandson or granddaughter who's into that. Please share that information and just come to learn something new. I think it'll be really interesting. And that's this Thursday at 11 a.m. Kara will be putting some more stuff in the chat. Oh, she already did. We also have an event called Mastering Zoom, which is about how to use Zoom. So if you're curious and maybe you're new to this setting, you're welcome to come to that. You'll learn a little bit about the etiquette and the do's and the don'ts of how to be on a Zoom square. That's on Wednesday, August 27th at 11 a.m. More info in the chat. And then our final Ask the Scholar speaker series for the summer is called The AI Crossroads: Navigating Higher Education's Evolving Landscape with Eric LePage and Lee Forrest. That's Thursday, the 28th of August at 4:30 p.m. And that will be really interesting. I know, obviously, there's so much conversation about AI and specifically with how it's impacting learning. And I just think that will be really interesting. So many of us, were students at some point in our life, in whatever setting that was. And I think it'll be interesting to hear from the experts about how AI is impacting learning here in our field. Okay, so Kara, did I miss it? Oh, how do you register? So you register via our website. So you go on and you create an account. Kara will put the link in the chat there. And you can pay online. If you if you don't want to pay online, you can still create the account and select your courses, and then you would just be in touch with Kara about how to send in your payment via check. But it's all, we have a great system which is very secure if you want to pay online. Okay, lots of talking. Kara, Linda, did I miss anything in my little overview that you think I should touch on? No? Okay.
Sounded good.
All right. Okay. So I know there's some faculty that are here and that want to go sooner rather than later. I know I have Jim. If you're a faculty member, don't private message me. Just send it in the regular old chat. It's easier for me to look at it in that way. But I think without further ado, faculty, I do have the quick glance in front of me. So if you don't have the exact information on your course, that's okay. But I think we'll go ahead and get started. So remember, for the faculty who are just logging on now, we have a lot of you here on the Zoom screen. It's 3 to 5 minutes. Tell us who you are quickly and what's maybe one thing that folks can hope to learn from you, and then maybe a little bit about your course format. So is it a conversation? Is it discussion? Is it a lecture with Q&A at the end? I think that's helpful for folks. So I think we'll go ahead and get started with Jim Kirkcaldy first, and then after Jim, we'll go to Ellen S. Welcome, Jim. Good to see you.
Well, thank you. And I'm taking your advice. I'll keep it short. I'm teaching, first of all,
I'll be teaching four seminars this year. I'll be in Hingham for an art course. I've been doing art appreciation for now a few years. So I'll be doing the second one of art Renaissance from Impressionism to modern, and then I will be in let's see, the new one is Attleboro. I'll be starting that one with the Renaissance up to Impressionism, and then let's see what's the other one is on Plymouth. I'll be repeating one I did on Cold War jitters, which is more of a cultural impact, the cultural impact of the Cold War, and a new one I'm doing in Bridgewater is on the 17th century, which I think will be the best one I've ever done. It doesn't sound like much right now. Some of you probably don't even understand what was going on in Great Britain during the 17th century. But one of the things you'll learn from that will be why we have red and blue states. Okay, and I'll leave that hanging out there. I also promise I will shave before the courses start. That's a promise. And my format is I have PowerPoints with a lot of discussion. I encourage that. And I also send out to everyone copies of that. And that seems to work really well. People appreciate getting copies of the PowerPoints and so forth. Um, and they usually include jokes as well. So I'll keep it short as that, I think, and just let you guys move on. Thank you very much, Jen.
Oh, Jim, thank you so much. So, one tip that I will give you is if you see someone teaching like three, four classes, and you also look back at our old quick glance schedules, which are posted on our website, and you see that they've taught three or four classes every semester for a long time, that means they're really popular instructors. And Jim, you are definitely in that category. You
Thank you.
are. We're so grateful for all of your engagement, and you go to the various locations, and people love learning from you in person. And I'm eternally grateful for all the knowledge that you share with our participants. And I know people that are here that have been with us for a while feel the same way. So thank you so much. We're looking forward to, I
Thank
think,
you
your
for the
whole.
opportunity. Let me just say I really enjoy this. This has been a great opportunity, and I'm sure the other teachers feel the same way. Have a nice
Oh,
day.
thank
Bye-bye.
you, Jim. Good to see you. We'll see you. Okay, so then we have Ellen, and after Ellen, we'll do Paul Phelan.
Hi, I'm Ellen Snowinvest. I'm a retired library director from West Bridgewater, but I live in Halifax. Currently, I'm sitting here with this dog on my lap because I'm babysitting my kids and grand dog, as they say. Anyway, I'm teaching two classes. The first is on Zoom, and it's a repeat of one I did last year called um, Finding Joy, a Literary Journey. But because I got some very helpful feedback last fall, I've made some small changes to it. It's multimedia, which means we'll be watching video and reading some excerpts from a variety of authors. This is the book that really started me on the journey. It's called Inciting Joy by Ross Gay, who is a poet from Indiana University. And the books that we'll be reading, or I'll be reading excerpts from, and I do encourage people to read as much of them as you want, but you don't have to read anything to be a participant in the class. Um, the feedback I got was that they wanted more time for discussion, which is fabulous. But I just want to run through quickly the books that we will be referring to are Inciting Joy, The Pursuit of Happiness, which is a new book I didn't have last year by Jeffrey Rosen, who is a scholar on the founding fathers. And his premise is that the pursuit of happiness doesn't mean happiness the way we think of it, but it's actually virtue. And then The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Roy Hinton, Black Joy, The Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama, How to Live a Life of Montaigne, and Joy is the Justice We Give Ourselves, which is by a naturalist slash poet called J. Drew Latham. Anyway, so that's our Finding Joy class, which is on Zoom. Now, the next class I'm also teaching is called The Legacy of Montaigne. And that actually grew out of the Finding Joy class last year. We all kind of I used Montaigne as a touchstone. And I dug a little deeper, did a little more research, which as a former history um, not professor, but history student, I was really love research. I discovered the essays of Montaigne are very pertinent to today's times. And so that class is going to be in person in Plymouth. And we're going to be reading some essays by Montaigne. We're going to be talking about Shakespeare and how he was influenced by Montaigne, and a number of other seminal authors in the Western canon who were deeply affected by Michel de Montaigne. So I think you'll find that really interesting. If you took my class last year on Finding Joy, you might find it fun to take it again, only because I've got some new resources. And as I said, because of the excellent, useful feedback I got from you guys in the fall and spring, I'm tightening it up a little bit and leaving more time for discussion.
Thank you so much, Ellen. I appreciate you are always so enthusiastic, and I know that you truly value the feedback that you get in those evaluations that we do, and I appreciate that you are being so considerate of how you structure your class based on that feedback. That's wonderful, and we're so glad to have you back in senior college again this
Thank
semester.
you. By the way, I'm also taking a number of classes myself.
I know. So you'll see Ellen in classes and on the other side of the screen as well, and the other side of the podium. So thank you. Welcome. Good to see you, Ellen. Okay, so up next we have, let's see, we'll do, who did I say? Paul Phelan, and then we'll do Alfred Cruadale. So Paul, welcome. And so for those of you that are new to senior college, you'll know, or you might want to know that senior college also does international travel trips. So we had our first one this past May, and we went to the great country of Northern Ireland, where Paul is from. And we spent some time there in Belfast and in Derry. And then we also went to the Republic of Ireland and went to Dublin. And we had the most beautiful, special, memorable experience. And it was all led, and I attribute so much of it to Paul and all the connections that he had in those beautiful countries. And Paul, we could go on and for days. We needed to have a reunion just on that. But we're also planning a trip that will be announced hopefully within the next 2 days, working on finalizing the materials to Scotland in May of 2026. And that will also be led by Paul and myself as the co-hosts. And Paul has, of course, many connections to that country and the culture there as well. So stay tuned for more information on that. We could talk about that all day, but Paul, I'll turn it over to you for anything you'd like to share about that or your upcoming course.
Thank you so much, Jen, and welcome to everyone here today. And I hope you all had a fantastic summer. I'm looking forward to the fall. This will be my fourth class starting this fall. And our format is we read 3 Irish books or plays, or it might be a biography. And I try to keep them relatively short because you've got 2 weeks to read the book and then we discuss it. We've got 2 weeks to discuss the book. It's very informal. It's really a discussion-based class. If you haven't read all the book, it's not a problem. If you read bits of it, you bring something to the class. Some people even came to the class and weren't even able to read the books, but still got a lot out of it. And I like it. This course is basically an introduction to Ireland, where Ireland is at today, culturally, socially, politically, economically. So we do a lot of contemporary writers, for example, Sally Rooner, who's writer in Ireland at the moment. And I'll do the classics, James Joyce and other writers. As I say, it's a very informal based class. We get really down and dirty, digging into the text and deconstructing it, but we also have a good laugh too, and that's important. So I love doing senior college. I love working with all the students here, and of course going to Ireland with Jen and all 38 of us. We had the time of a lifetime. That's just, I treasure it so much. So I look forward to some old faces in our class and some new faces. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. Great to see you. I hope you're having a great summer. I love the melding of working, leading a trip, but also being able to drink Guinness along the way. It was wonderful. It's one of my favorite work experiences I've ever had. Many pints of Guinness were consumed, and it was wonderful. Okay, thanks, Paul. It's good to see you. Okay, so up next we'll have Alfred Crudale, Richard G, and then Matt Davis. That's the list. So Alfred, good to see you.
Buongiorno a tutti. So I'm Alfredo Crudale. I am the Italian professor at Bridgewater State, and Jennifer and Kara and I have put together these Italian classes for senior college, which I'm very appreciative of because they were very popular and my students were very enthusiastic. So this semester we're going to offer 2 classes. The first one is a first level class, And that class will be that both classes are in person because it's very communicative. Um, the first level will be a conversation class, and it's rather informal. You will learn how to greet people, how to talk about your families and your hobbies and what you like. And then the second class, the second level class will be a little more grammar intense, not terribly, but in the second class, we've decided that we're going to give you some structure of the language, but we will also continue to work on conversation because my main focus, even with my students at the university, is conversation, so that you're able to use the language. Um, we really have a good time, and it's very it's a lot of fun, and I really look forward to seeing all of my students in senior college in September. Grazie.
Grazia, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you back. I know that your courses are popular. If you're thinking of taking his courses, I would recommend that you sign up sooner rather than later because they're in person and their space is limited. So thank you so much for engaging with us, and we're thrilled to have you back this semester. Okay, so who did I say was up next? So we'll have Richard G. and then Matt Davis. Hi, Richard. Richard, we were joking about you on our Ireland trip because as soon as we got there, everyone had trouble downloading WhatsApp on their phones, and I was like, I'm not doing tech support. We should have brought the iPhone instructor on this trip. So maybe next time you'll come along with us to Scotland, and you can be our in-person tech support.
That sounds like fun. Thanks for the invitation. I'll be teaching two courses, one in September, one in October. And the first one is a continuation of a course I taught last semester, which was on iPhone. I'll be teaching, going still further with iPhone. And every year there's new iOS software that will reach our phones by the third week in September. So we'll be looking at some of that. I will be, I'm retired from two jobs. One is being an Apple specialist, and the other is being a congregational minister. And both jobs were wonderful. And I found another job, which is teaching at our wonderful senior college at Bridgewater. Happy to share some of the things I've learned over the years. This is not an Apple sponsored course, but I've learned a lot over 40 years. So I'm happy to share what I know with you. Some of the things we'll be tackling, for instance, will be in the new software, you can actually record call and get a phone call and get a transcript from it and have that for future reference. Let's say you're talking to a doctor and you want to really remember everything the doctor said. So this piece of new software will help us be able to do that. We'll be also looking at how to use voice prompts to go through some of the basic functions of an iPhone. For instance, I have my iPhone with me here today, and if I want to turn my flashlight on, and this will amaze your grandchildren who already know a lot about iPhone, but if I say, "Hey Siri, Lumos,"
It's on now.
the flashlight comes on using a spell from Harry Potter, but we'll be using spells from Apple most of all. And that's the first course. It's at Bridgewater. The second one is in Plymouth, and we're going to do some of the same things with iPad and Apple Watch and Apple TV. It's a kind of getting to know you course with those three devices. The underlying hope under all of this is that, well, I'll tell you a quick incident from this past summer. I went to get my COVID shot, and being 70, I probably looked older to the person giving the shot. My son was with me, who happens to be in medical school. But the whole time after the shot, the person who facilitated the shot looked at my son as opposed to looking at me. There was that unconscious bias that does something to age, to people who are older. picking up on age first instead of ability. So we want to kind of look at that a little bit too. And we'll look at a study. Actually, it's 55 studies that was in Science magazine recently. And those 55 studies point to one thing, that seniors can do technology. If you think you can't do technology, then you've been brainwashed by society, because you can do it. And those studies showed two things were important. One is taking it slowly and step by step. And secondly, having a quiet room with a patient facilitator. And we have all that thanks to Jennifer and Kara. So we're going to undo that bias as we go through these courses as well. I look forward to seeing you again.
Richard, thank you so much. I know you put so much care and thought into these courses, and appreciate your astute observations about ageism, and especially, ageism that happens in the medical field. And it reminds me that we had a course, I think last semester or the semester before, on how to talk so doctors will listen with Siobhan Curry. And I know it was incredible. We're actually having a special event with her coming up in the fall. And it's part of our ramping up for the Sandwich location, but it will be on Zoom so anyone can go. So it'll be a one-time event with her on how to talk so doctors will listen. So that's I think that would be a nice compliment to what your point is about the ageism. And I know that we all need to be more conscious of that, because even as we age, we still are sometimes ageist towards others or to ourselves in some ways. And then unpacking that bias is really important. Thank you so much, Richard. Okay, so Matt Davis, welcome. And so after Matt, we'll go to Mike Krasanik. So Matt, you have the floor.
Oh, hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm sorry I have to leave early. I'm in Amish country in Pennsylvania on a vacation right now. But at any rate, I was a professor in California for about 35 years. I taught psychology courses, but my degree is an interdisciplinary degree in social ecology. So I, for many years, taught a class on natural disaster, and that's what I'll be offering at the Plymouth campus on Thursday afternoons. Um, Basically, we're going to look at it's a combination of both psychology and earth sciences. So we start with talking about why people live in dangerous places and how we see our risk and how that does or doesn't translate into preparedness. I'll then be doing weeks on earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunami, flood, hurricane, and tornado. And we'll finish off with the aftermath of disaster. So how people cope with trauma and grief and post-traumatic stress and that type of thing, and how communities recover from disaster. And hearing about all the international travel and the Italian class, it gets me homesick. I'm a world traveler. I just published my own book on my travel memoirs of all my international travels. And I used to lead a lot of student trips to Europe in my professorial days. So I might have to get involved in those again. It would be fun.
Matt, it seems like you have a lot of senior college courses in you. I really hearing lots of other courses that could be offered by you. And one thing I wanted to say, Matt, and we can talk offline about this, but my best friend recently lost her home in the Eaton fire in California. And her name is Victoria Knapp. And she's also the chair of the town council in Altadena, California, which is an unincorporated part of LA County. So it's a unique situation where they basically don't have a local government. And so she's been leading the charge. She's been on Good Morning America, New York Times. She's met, Gavin Newsom like 10 times. And so she lost her own home, 9,000 properties were lost. So she'd be a great guest speaker if you wanted to have her in your class, because she can speak about it from the personal traumatic situation of leaving your home with a moment's notice. They just had to close on their backs. They didn't take any possessions, and then they're rebuilding, which is such a interesting thing, for people. Well, we don't live in fire country in that way, so it's hard to imagine why you would rebuild. And so it's interesting.
That's one of the things I talk about, is why we live in dangerous places to begin with, and why we tend to rebuild and go on.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd love to talk to you offline. I think she'd be a great person,
Sure.
even just to bring in for 20 minutes or something. We could hook it up that she could talk via Zoom in your
Right.
class in person. So, okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Matt. Really interesting.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, now we're turning it over to Dr. Michael Krasanik. And after, so I'll just take a pause there to say if you're a instructor in the Zoom and you need to leave sooner rather than later, just put it in the chat, the public chat, so I know to put you on the sooner rather than later list. But if you're okay and you don't have a preference, that's fine too. So we'll turn it over to Michael Krasanik, and then after Michael Krasanik, we'll do Zanga. So, welcome, Dr. Krasanik.
Jen, thanks very much. And as you can see, and the people who've taken my course, I'm back again. I guess I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, but I'm back again. And this time we're going to be looking at what's happened in the last 250 days of the current Trump administration. What usually happens is that there is the discussion of the first 100 days of any president that comes on board. But we're going to take a look at the 250 days. The reason I'm saying that is that not only is it a kind of an interesting number, but by the time we get through with the course, which starts on October 1st at the Bridgewater Library, by the time we get through 6 sessions, we'll be into the first year almost of the Trump administration, because we'll be into November. And so it seems like it's an appropriate time to take a look at what has occurred under this administration. There's a lot that's out there that needs to be, I think, discussed and presented. The big beautiful bill, the war in the Ukraine, the attempt to redistrict in Texas, and create a new format for representation. And many other aspects of what is currently going on within the Trump administration, besides all the salacious discussions of the Epstein list and the like. We won't get into some of the more salacious aspect of it, but we'll get into the idea of truth and openness and transparency, and see what people have to say about that. As Jen knows, and the people who have been in my class, there's a great deal of emphasis not just on me talking, but having a sharing of ideas and viewpoints and discussions. And there's certainly a lot that we can discuss. Obviously, try to bring in my views, which will be fair and balanced, as they say in one of the networks, and give people an opportunity to express their views on our nation at this very critical time in our history. Not only the first 250 days of the Trump administration, but also the movement away from the Democrats to the Republicans to the MAGA people, and give people an opportunity to understand some of the more important aspects of what has occurred within the last 250 days. And there's been a lot that needs to be covered, and do it in a way that allows people to not only express their views or their frustrations or their anger or their happiness, whatever it might be, but also to lay out in a format. There'll be some handouts, there'll be some visuals, there'll be some no books to read, but certainly encouraging people to pay attention to what's going on in terms of the press, in terms of the media, in terms of social media, in terms of television, so that they can come to class with not only questions but also opinions on what they think is the current state of the United States under the Trump administration after 250 days. And as I say, by the time we're through, we'll be into November, which will be the conclusion of 1 year since the election of Donald Trump to the presidency. So it's kind of like an important time period to take a look at where we are and where we're going and what this all means for us as American citizens. And I'll be happy to again encourage people to participate actively in the discussions. We generally have a good dialogue going on in the past, and probably will continue to do that in the future. So looking forward to meeting new people and some of the stalwarts who have been part of the class as well. Some of whom I'm seeing up there on the list. So looking forward to it. See you October 1st, which is a Wednesday. I believe it's 11:25 to 12:45, and see you in October. How's that?
Thank you so much, Mike. You've been shepherding us all through everything politically related for many, many years now. And I know that this population here in senior college, for people that are, that are really wanting to know more about what's going on in the political realm, they find solace in being guided by you and your knowledge. So I really appreciate you coming back again to shepherd us through this next important phase.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Okay, so up next we have Zanga, and then I'll turn it over to Ron Reynolds. So Zanga, then Ron. Oh, no, sorry. I'm sorry. Zanga, Robert Santulli, and then Ron Reynolds. Go ahead, Zanga. Welcome. Nice to see you.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. How's everybody? My name is Zunga Freeman. I'm a mental health coach and a jewelry artist. I have been working in mental health for 5 years, and I've been a jewelry artist for the past 15 years. This is my first time here for senior college, so thank you all for having me. I am bringing my course called Bead Therapy, which is a traveling third space workshop fusing art therapy with jewelry creation as a form of approach for a non-clinical approach to create people to have a space of creativity. This is for all ages from as young as 6 to as old as 99. I have been doing workshops for the senior centers all across Massachusetts, art centers, libraries, and different schools. And this is going to be a course where it's going to be in a workshop format where it'll be very interactive. We'll probably have between 10 to 15 participants, depending on how many people sign up. And we'll be able to be learning how to make bracelets, necklaces, earrings, or whatever your creativity may come up with. We'll also add different spaces of learning about different properties of stones, histories, origins of semi-precious stones, the difference between precious and semi-precious, and then overall different things that we may want to just like tap into with bead culture as a whole. There will also be opportunities for if you have other jewelry that you may have had throughout the years that you'd want to fix. We'll also be teaching on how to restore old pieces of old jewelry as well. So just a variety of different fun things we'll be able to do. But thank you so much for having me. I really look forward to teaching this class and getting to know the senior college culture.
Zanga, we're so excited to have you. I'm just trying to make sure. Can you just say again where your class is? I'm sorry if you did say that at the beginning.
Yes. I will be in the Auto Barrel campus.
Yes.
and
Okay.
On Fridays.
Yeah, Friday starting on September 11th at 10:40 a.m. So we've been trying a long time to connect with you. You've come very highly recommended from many of our members. So we're really excited to have this hands-on class with you. Thank you so much. Welcome to Senior College.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll hand it over now to Robert Santulli and then Ron Reynolds. Welcome, Dr. Rob. Good to see you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk. I'm going to be teaching a course about aging, and it's going to cover some of the things that have already been discussed this morning, but I'll start out by talking about the population in general in the United States and the world, the aging population, and what the fact that everybody is getting older and what the implications that has for all of us. I'm going to talk about coping with the different challenges that exist for aging and how best to do that and how that can help people really grow and get the most out of their senior years. I'll talk also about what happens to the body with aging and some of the common illnesses that occur in people who are over 65. One of the most common ones and one of the ones that people dread the most has to do with their memory and thinking, cognitive problems. And I'll give some discussion about that and discuss Alzheimer's and some other cognitive problems and again, ways to try to maintain your best thinking, similar to a course that I did a while back for senior college on keeping your mind sharp. I'm then going to talk about aging as we discuss about ageism rather, excuse me, as was talked about earlier. And it's very true that all of us are victims of that, but also probably internalize some of society's views about old people and how that really gets in our way. I want to talk about that, help people be fully aware of that, and again, what they might be able to do to lessen that or prevent that. And finally, I'm going to go on and talk about the importance of maintaining or establishing a sense of purpose in aging. That is something that all of us have throughout our lives to a great degree, but often fades as people get older. And I want to talk about the importance of reimagining that and how that can be beneficial to our well-being and our health and our longevity and so forth. So I'm looking forward to this course. The course, the format will be similar to what I've done in the past. I'll give some PowerPoint presentations, but I'm going to leave a lot of time for discussion, for questions and comments that people may have. And in each session, I'm going to be bringing some discussion questions that I hope will be interesting for all of us to pursue. So the course begins in October. It's in Plymouth at the Center for Active Living. Begins October 23rd, runs for 6 weeks, ending December 4th. There's a week in there which is not happening, but it'll be in the afternoon, 2:40 in Plymouth, starting October 23rd. And I hope anyone who's aging, and that includes all of us, will consider taking that course. I look forward to seeing many of you then, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're great to have you back. You've been with us for a while now. I've sort of lost track, but I'm thrilled that we connected and I know people learn from you. Can you also just say what your profession, and I know you're, I think, retired from your main profession, but I think that's helpful to share.
I'm a retired geriatric psychiatrist, actually. I worked up in New Hampshire for many years, and then I've also taught undergraduates and in aging and dementia. Those are my primary specialties. And so I've been doing that, did that at the college level in New Hampshire, and then have been doing it down here at senior college and elsewhere for the last several years. So that's what I do. But I'm a retired physician, so that's my primary occupation, or was.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Good to see you, Bob.
See you.
Okay, so up next we have Ron Reynolds and then Carol Crosby. Welcome, Ron. Good to see you. So may I just say one thing before you get started? So this past June, we had our member appreciation event, our senior college under the tent in University Park on our campus. It was a beautiful event. We had 130 people attend, and Ron was given a special recognition as one of our most beloved instructors in senior college that was nominated by the advisory council that we have here in senior college. And I think it took him quite by surprise, which I was really delighted by. And so, Ron, that was just one of my favorite memories of all my whole senior college experience was being able to recognize you in that public way. And thank you for all that you've done for senior college. But I won't embarrass you any further, but I will thank you and just give you the floor.
I must say, you really took me by surprise. Afterward, I realized why you had been after me for several days. Are you sure you're going to be there? And when you said my name, I was completely taken. My wife commented, though, that she was sure I wasn't short of words when I had to speak. I
Yeah,
know when
I said you can say a few words, a few.
well, it's an occupational hazard. I love to talk. Well, good morning, everyone. One of the nice things about teaching is you have a captive audience. And in this case, the captive audience has been wonderful to work with. I often joke that I sometimes feel guilty accepting a stipend for teaching the class, but I never fail to cash the check when it arrives. But I do have fun doing this, and I've got a couple of my favorite things coming up this fall. There'll be 2 classes, both meeting on Friday mornings at 9:30 and running to 10:50. I believe that's the time slot. Friday mornings, both taught on Zoom. The first class is something really dear to my heart. It's going to be on weather and climate. And this course will be primarily through PowerPoints to indicate the talking points I want to bring up. And though there will be a great deal of lecture, there's also a lot of input from class members because comments and questions are always welcome. I want you to rest assured when you get into my class, I want you to be able to speak. And I found people are so thoughtful and polite that generally I just ask them to stay muted, but as soon as they have a question, just break in at what seems like a reasonable time. I find that since I'm so occupied in my PowerPoint and what I'm talking about, I don't get a chance to look for that hands up signal that Zoom has available. I'm too busy doing other things, so just break in. Now, in the course on weather and climate, this will be the first half semester. Primarily, it's going to be on weather elements. I want to look at atmospheric moisture. What kinds of things cause atmospheric moisture to condense in the first place? And then secondly, what makes the difference between whether it falls as rain or snow or hail or whatever? I want to look at wind and how weather varies from season to season. And there's some surprising things that take place because a lot of people, for example, don't know that the Earth is closest to the sun on January 3rd. Now, intuitively, that sounds crazy. You would think it would have been a week back. It sure felt like it. But obviously, the distance from the sun isn't the cause of the Earth's weather. And I want to look at these kinds of elements and get people to understand, get a better idea of what's going on. And then if time allows, I want to look at climates around the world, the various patterns that exist, and climate change, I certainly want to talk about. I don't have a solution for it, and I have my own ideas. And I will share these with you, and you're welcome to share your ideas back. The second class that I'm going to offer is a travelogue. I have been really fortunate to get a great deal of time spent in the American West. I was involved with NASA for a while, and they flew me all over the country, and I got to see a good deal of hidden gems in the West because of that experience. But then the thing that really drove it home was traveling with my sons. For a few years, my son was involved with Lincoln Laboratories, and he had a job assignment out in Nevada, doing what only God knows. I haven't been able to find out. But in any event, while he was traveling out there, I had a tremendous opportunity to see the West. Because when he moved out, I moved a lot of my stuff with him, and I could just travel and only carry immediately needed things with me. I had a 2-week supply of clothing in Nevada, and the rest was back here. And we got to go everywhere. And we will look at some of the spectacular sites, like you can see one behind me. I took this back in 1961. It's on Mather Point at the Grand Canyon, and I think it's one of the best views of the canyon. I've been to the Grand Canyon 5 or 6 times. I like to go and spend a day or two there. It's just probably the most awesome site in the world, though it's not my favorite park. For me, the gem and the crowning jewel in the park system is Yellowstone. Yosemite is a second and not a close second. Nothing is as good as Yellowstone, in my opinion. So we will look at what's in those parks. But also, there's a lot of other parks people have never heard of, many of them state parks. Valley of Fire, not too far out of Las Vegas. Red Rock Canyon. Most people have never heard of these things. They've gone to Las Vegas and never gone down to Hoover Dam. There's all kinds of things to see in the West, and I'm going to share my photo collection with you and talk about what's there, some travel tips, where to stay, where to avoid staying, things like that. And what I'm planning to do the first week, I'll have a video presentation I want to show you. I have software on my computer that allows me to take my color slides and put them into a sequence timed with motion effects and a background of music. And this will run for well over an hour and just highlight some of the things we'll be looking at for the following 5 weeks. And then for the following 5 weeks, I've taken selected pictures and put them into PowerPoint. And I want to go through and talk about these things in closer detail. And questions are, again, always welcome. Comments. Some of you may have traveled to some of the same places and would like to share your experiences with the others. That will be welcome. Comments, questions, always welcome in both classes. So the first class is on weather and climate, first half semester. The second course is called Western Skies, and that's for the second half, both on Friday mornings, 9:30 to 10:50 on Zoom. And I look forward to working with you. I see a number of familiar faces in the background, and I'm hoping to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. We're really excited to have those courses with you back this fall. We appreciate all the time and effort you put into senior college, and thanks for being here today. So up next we have Carol Crosby, and after Carol we'll have Siobhan Corey. Carol, welcome. Yay, I'm so glad to see you.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited. This is my first course I'm teaching at senior college, and I reached out to Jennifer saying I'd love to try something that we've been doing here at Bridgewater. And she said, yes, let's do it. I've actually been testing this course with several faculty this summer, and they loved it so much that we're going to continue it through the fall. So I think that's a good sign. First of all, I am well, first of all, actually, it's Design Your Senior Life. And it starts October 9th, and it's Thursday starting at 6 p.m. It will be remote. I live on the Cape, so I'm going to be doing it from my Cape house. I'll get home and settle in, and then we'll start to design your life. So what's life design? Brief story, I have been a career coach for, wow, probably about 25 plus years, working at universities and colleges, and Wesleyan, URI, UConn, Brandeis, and settled here and love Bridgewater State University, best place I've ever worked. And I was struggling with a lot of students in my sessions who are first generation, who are struggling with all sorts of problems moving forward and figuring out who they are. And I ended up reading a little book, and it's Designing Your Life, How to Build a Well-Lived, Joyful Life. And it's by two faculty members at Stanford. And they teach people how to be life designers. And it's a 5-step process that I have refined. I've taken training in it, I've refined, I brought it to Bridgewater. I've now been working with it for about 3 years. We are considered one of the change makers across the world. Bridgewater, little Bridgewater, for life design now, because of the work we're doing with students. And what it does is it helps you in 5 steps to go from puzzled, unsure, not sure what to do with your life, with your visions of life, struggling with different challenges, trying to build a life plan, all of this. And you take these 5 steps throughout this course. And at the end, you have a plan, a creative vision where you want to go. And we use it a lot across the country in colleges and universities, but we're also using it with all age groups. We all have struggles. We all have, we get stuck. We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. We're trying to build a life plan. We can't get through things. This life design does this in this 5-step process. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach all of that. It's going to be a lot of discussions. If depending on the size of the class, there may be some breakouts, but then we'll come back as a group and talk about what we've learned in each session. There will be a little homework in between, and the homework will be taking an online assessment, filling out a little paperwork, doing a little journal writing. It'll be different every week, so it won't be enormous amounts of work. You probably could still attend the class without doing the work in between, but it's kind of fun. It'll be assessments. You're going to relearn your values. All our values change throughout our lifetime. So we're going to look at those values. We're going to look at your personality. We're going to look, we may even look at your skill sets. And then we're going to pull this all together. And we're going to, again, design out what your life is going to look like after this class. And it's a really nice process that anybody at any age can use. And so let's design your life.
I think I need this class, Carol, for sure. So I'm really excited. And, Carol's being really humble about how well known Bridgewater has become under her leadership on this. And she recently received a very important award that the university gives out. What's the name of the award that you got, Carol?
Yeah, so we got my cohort who is also doing life design. I have a faculty member who's working alongside. We've been designing a first-year class for our students and various other things. We both received the Presidential Award for, I'm going to forget the name, but it's Collaboration in Teaching. So thank you, Jennifer. That really surprised me. It kind of knocked me off my feet. But it really is life design. I brought it to my VP when I read the book and said, I think we can do this at Bridgewater. And it's a way of taking people from not knowing where they want to go to building a vision and pivoting and learning about growth mindsets and positive mindsets and really breaking out of that stuck mode we get into. And we've been doing it at Bridgewater and the students love it. And as I said, I just started working with faculty. They love it. Pretty exciting.
Very exciting. And the Presidential Award is a very, very big deal. So congratulations and thank you for taking the time to engage with us in senior college. I think this will be a really important and worthwhile class for many of our members. So thank you, Carol. It's good to see you. So up next we have, and I'll just be mindful of the time, it's 11:04. We are going to end by 11:30. So just make sure faculty, you're keeping it to 3-ish minutes, who you are, maybe one thing they can expect to learn from you, and the format of your class, whether it's conversation or discussion or lecture. I'm going to hand it over to Siobhan in just a minute, and then I'll hand it over to Cheryl Jones after Siobhan. And I wanted to say that, Siobhan, before you logged in, your ears might have been ringing because we were talking about ageism and in another context of learning new technology. And I mentioned that you'll be doing a special Zoom presentation this fall on how to talk so doctors can listen. And so folks can look for more information about that on our website, but it's for the Sandwich area, but it's on Zoom so anyone can attend. And we look forward to having you back this fall for that special Ask the Scholar series as well. But I'll hand the floor over to you now to talk about your classes.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And it's so nice to see familiar faces. I saw Evie and Diane. Good to see you all. I'm going to talk about the class I'm most excited about first. I am going to be teaching a class on cults and conspiracies. That's going to start November 3rd, Monday from 1 to 2:30. I have a PhD in communications, and I've taught a lot about how advertisers and politicians and religious leaders, including cult leaders, all use these same rhetorical techniques. So I'll be talking a bit about that. What I don't teach about is the psychology of people who join cults and believe in conspiracy theories. So that's what I'm hoping that we can learn together. Whenever I mention that I'm going to be teaching this class, somebody has a story about, oh, my brother did this. My uncle believes this. Oh, even my wife believes this. My husband's getting sucked into this. So I really hope that when it comes to the psychology of people who join, I'm going to get everybody's stories and we can kind of piece that together. So I'll take I'll teach the theory about the techniques that the leaders use and hopefully get that discussion going from you. If you took my class last term on the historical Jesus, I am going to start this class by talking about Book of Revelation, because so many cults and conspiracy theories, from QAnon to Jonestown, start with that Book of Revelations and then go off of that. So if you're interested in biblical history, I think this will be great. And I want to end that class with a debate, which hopefully should be very lively, and we're going to debate whether certain organizations are a cult. Is Scientology a cult? Are the Jehovah's Witnesses a cult? Are the Mormons a cult? What about the Catholic Church? So that we'll end with that. And sign up for that soon, because I know that one's going to fill up. That's starting November 3rd. Another class I'm going to teach is going to be a virtual trip to Turkey. I lived in Turkey for a lot of my life, and I started thinking, oh, I want to do a class on biblical archaeology in Turkey. But then when I was planning it out, I thought, no, I want to do more than that. I want to do the older archaeological sites too. So we'll talk about a place called Göbekli Tepe, which is 13,000 years old, thought of sometimes as one of the world's first temples. We'll talk about the site, which is thought maybe to be ancient Troy. And then we'll get into a little bit of the socio-political climate. I lived in Turkey when a time it was a very secular country. We'll look at belly dancing, history of belly dancing, connected to dances like flamenco. That's going to be really fun. And then we'll get into a little bit of politics at the end, because can't talk about Turkey with that. You know, Turkey's in the Middle East, but it's also on the Black Sea. So you've got Ukraine just across the Black Sea. And if Putin wants to get his ships out of the Black Sea, he's got to go through the Bosphorus and the Dardanelles, which are in Turkey. So it's got a really pivotal point. And like the rest of the world, Turkey is getting swept up with right-wing religious nationalism. Things are changing. It's not the country that I knew. So we'll end talking about that stuff and what we can do to protect the cultural heritage sites in Turkey. The last class I'm teaching, the dates for that class. That is the virtual trip to Turkey will start October 1st, and it's Wednesdays 4 to 5:30. And then actually I'm going to end with the first class I will be teaching, which is something quite different for me. It will be September 15th. Yeah, Monday, September 15th. And that is a grandparents book, making a grandparents book. And what is this? This is going to be kind of like a visual memoir class, along with some very basic computer skills. You don't have to have a lot of computer skills. The more computer skills you have, then probably the more beautiful your book's going to be. But I got this idea because in 2020, when we were all stuck inside for the pandemic, my own mom made a grandparents book for my daughter, and it was just beautiful. And it's kind of half a memoir about her life, and then half genealogy too, about all our ancestors. It was just gorgeous. So you don't have to be a grandparent to take this class. If you want to do it for a child or a niece or just even your spouse, it'll be easy to adapt. The format's going to be a little bit different from my other classes, because we'll do 45 minutes of me showing you internet sites, like finding out about local parish records, or looking at online genealogy sites, or finding ships manifestos, finding your high school yearbook in the Library of Congress, stuff like that. And then the other 45 minutes are going to be me helping you do things like organize your photos on your computer, write these little memoir prompts, organize that. So it'll be very interactive. And again, that class starts on September 15th. So to recap, I've got grandparents book Monday, September 15th at 1 to 2:30. Virtual trip to Turkey starts October 1st, Wednesdays at 4 to 5:30. And the cults and conspiracies, which I think everybody should sign up for now because I know it's going to go fast, is November 3rd. That will be Mondays 1 to 1:30. Thank you. Oh, is Cara there?
It looks like Jen maybe left for a moment, but that's okay. Thank you, Siobhan. We're really
Thank
excited to
you.
have you back. I got great feedback about all your courses, so I know that people will be happy to see your name on the schedule. And I believe Cheryl was up next. So
Yeah,
I'm
thanks
going to
so
turn it
much.
over to you.
Thank you, Kara. Hi, everyone. Cheryl Jones. I'm the owner of Thrive 55 Plus Wellness. I call it a health and happiness coaching studio in Plymouth. I have a master's in education, and I've been a leader in the wellness space for over 40 years. And I'm super excited to share with you my upcoming course, which I'll be leading in person at the Plymouth Center for Active Living, beginning Thursday, September 11th at 11:30 a.m. And the course is called Thrive Forward, Cultivating Resilience for Yourself and Your Community. So we're going to talk about resilience. And I think when we do this, a lot of times we think of it as, bouncing back from challenging times, but I believe that resilience goes a lot deeper. It's more about healing and transformation. So how do we transform our heartbreak, our loss and disappointment into wisdom, right? We can grow old, or we can grow old and wise. Growing old doesn't equal growing wise. So how do we transform all of this into wisdom, compassion, and strength? I'll be drawing a bit from my book, Thriving When Your Cosmic Egg is Cracked, A Mindful Journey. And in this course, I'll be taking you through practical tools and mindfulness practices. I'm trained as a mindfulness-based stress reduction instructor. And so I'll be introducing these practices, and the goal is really to, help people to overcome limiting thoughts and repetitive patterns of thinking that get in the way of our growth and ability to thrive as we age. And my format, I always use PowerPoint just to keep myself organized and grounded. But, just a few slides. We'll be doing a lot of reflective activities and plenty of group discussion, so highly interactive. And again, as I mentioned, I'll be leading some meditations. So again, this course is all about learning practical ways to thrive as we age. And I think of this around the wellness wheel. So personally and collectively, for physical health, mental clarity, emotional well-being, spirituality, and our sense of connection to each other. And each session, we're going to end with a specific small step or something that you'll be practicing until the next time that we meet. So I hope you'll join me for this meaningful journey, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. So sorry, my internet I'm working from home today and the internet crapped out. So I'm joining everyone from my phone. So thank you. We're really excited. I know you taught with us a while back, and so we reconnected, and I'm so glad that we did. I'm really looking forward to your class. Thank you. So just a reminder to instructors, you're welcome to pop off after you've given your plug. So up next, and if you need to go sooner rather than later, please go ahead and just chime in and verbally, because I'm on my phone, so I have a little bit of a limited functionality here. So up next, we have Lisa Heller-Borgine, I think is how I pronounce her name. So Lisa, I'm excited to have you. And after Lisa, John Winters will be up after her. Welcome,
Everyone.
Lisa.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction, Jennifer. So I have been teaching at BSU for about 15 years. I am a professor of communication. I also teach at Stonehill part-time, and I also teach at Cape Cod Community College. And in a prior incarnation of my, I've got about 30 years of teaching and experience, and in a prior incarnation, I was an argumentation and debate coach. And one of the things that really struck me in all this was the impact of big events and how those events shape us, not just our culture, but personally. So here's a little experiment, and if you want to participate, would be great. If you want to pop in the chat an event that happened in life that really impacted you, and September 11th, Challenger disaster, Sandy Hook, like I'm thinking of things that have impacted me, and I'd just love to get a sense of what impacts people have. COVID, 2020, of course, the pandemic. How could we forget that, right? But thinking the Challenger disaster, absolutely. And so there's things that are going to come. Like where were you when JFK got shot, right? I mean, these are events that impact us and stay with us. And so I thought it'd be really fun for us to have a discussion-led course where we talk about how is this event a turning point for you? Right after September 11th, a lot of people quit their jobs. After COVID, people like changed their lifestyles. I mean, it's just really interesting. Like I used to be very active when I was younger and hiking a lot, and then I stopped, and then COVID hit, and all of a sudden I started hiking again, right? And so these are kinds of events and experiences that we're going to come up with stories together about the event. We're going to pick an event and look at all these, look at all these examples people are giving in the chat, like Boston Marathon bombing, absolutely. Middletown, the current administration, sure. The experiences we have are going to be really interesting to talk about. And a lot of times people overlook how impactful these stories are. And so what we're going to do is we're going to build our own impressions about the event we pick over the internet, through libraries, through films, through discussions with family members. And we're going to think about how we can communicate about those memories, about those events, through journals, through videos, through our conversations, to our families and communities. And so it's going to be a fun discussion-based class. It's entirely over Zoom. And it'll be held on Mondays from 6 to 7:20. And I'm a little bit of not to toot my own horn, but I'm a little bit of a Zoom expert. And I have a lot of really fun tricks to keep Zoom fun and interactive and engaging, as opposed to just the talking head that can happen on Zoom. I promise you, if you take this class, you'll have a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it. And thank you for the opportunity, Jennifer. It's Mondays at 6 to 7:20, starting on the 8th of September.
Lisa, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I've known that you are a dynamic Bridgewater State University faculty member, seen your name on everything for all these years. So what a coup for us to have you in senior college. And maybe someday I could ask to hire you to do some like senior college faculty development on Zoom, because we have lots of great faculty who teach on Zoom, but are pretty new to the platform themselves. And so that might, and they oftentimes, like I sit with them and do one-on-one. I consider myself to be a somewhat, I think I'm a pretty high level user, but it sounds like you have, that expertise as well. So maybe we can talk offline about that. So welcome. Thank you so much. I love, it's one of my favorite things. I am like every 9/11 I go down, I spend like a month just rewatching documentaries and first person accounts. Like I just literally am like in my full 9/11 gear up, where I do it every year because I just realized it impacted me so much that every year at this time I go on YouTube and I watch all these first person accounts. It's fascinating stuff.
Like exactly. So thinking, how do these things like sit with us, and like really exploring that, right? Like I totally remember 9/11. That is probably like boom for me. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting. Thank you so much. Great to meet you. Okay, so then up next we have John Winters. And then just so you know, I have on my list that we still have Joe Nunes, Ray Ajamine, Kristen Morgans, and Joe Moore. But so we'll do John Winters and then Joe Moore. Go ahead, John.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Jen. Hello, everyone. I'm teaching in this coming semester, I believe, 2 groups of short stories. First the men, and then the women. We go for 8 weeks. We read a couple of stories for each week, and then discuss them. The class is set up really. It's really your class if you're a student in there, where it's discussion driven. I kind of play the traffic cop, and I bring in some ideas and some context, etc. But then I kind of turn it loose so that the students can bring their own experiences and knowledge and thoughts and insights to bear, and we discuss it. And it works out quite well. We have a nice group of at least a dozen people, I think, usually that's between 10 and 12 who join me every week now for a couple of years, and would love to have more folks on board, certainly. When you ask what kind of short stories we're going to be reading, most of them will be, I think all of them are going to be online so that everyone, because I've gone through several short story collections trying to get the right mix. And frankly, they're all pretty expensive. So I don't want anyone to have to buy the new New Yorker, 100 years of short stories for $40 to take this. So we're going to be sticking with stuff that's online, but so many great things are online. We'll be dealing with William Faulkner. We'll be dealing with James Baldwin. We'll be dealing with John Cheever, Chekhov, Raymond Carver, James Joyce, Hemingway, Salinger. For the ladies in the second session, we'll have Toni Morrison, Flannery O'Connor, Joyce Carol Oates. Will probably read Shirley Jackson, The Lottery. If you haven't read that, you're in for a treat. Might read Brokeback Mountain, which started out as a short story. Let's see who else we have. Zora Neale Hurston. So we've got quite a mix. I'm trying to pair the stories up so they work well with each other and kind of speak to each other each week, and see they'll either be set up that way so we can see how these stories work together, or it'll be like two Hemingway stories one week and we can compare and contrast them that way. But be lots of I think the reading will be manageable, but I think there'll be a lot to discuss, and I'm really looking forward to another semester of senior college. It's the only place I teach these days by choice. So thank you.
John, thank you so much. I really appreciate your engagement. I'm always getting emails. I think I sent you an email the other day. Someone wants Shakespeare to come back, so I copied you on that. So it's nice when people are always clamoring for more John Winters. And I know a lot of people just take your class no matter what. They could have no interest in Shakespeare, but they're like, John is a cool guy. And I know that you have this like really loyal following, so I absolutely love that.
It's a great time. I really enjoy being with them. We do it basically Fridays at noon times, and it's really a part of my life now, and I enjoy it. Thank you.
Oh, well, we enjoy having you. Thanks so much, John. Okay, up next we have Joe Moore. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. My name is Joe Moore, and I'm going to be teaching a course on spirituality and aging. And my background, my academic background is in religious studies and also in mental health counseling. For the last 30 years, however, my main work has been with prisoners and people on probation and parole during mental health counseling with them. So spirituality on aging is a focus on the inner journey of aging, as opposed to the period of time where we work on our self-esteem, have roles at work, roles at home, roles in our life, where we have a little more leisure to reflect on new challenges that we face. I'll be using a little PowerPoint, some short videos, discussion. I hope to have like a seminar format, some poetry, especially Mary Oliver, whom I love. And as far as the crises of aging, I just want to look at my paper for a minute. Buddha said, change is never painful, only the resistance to change is painful. So I want to look at adaptation as a challenge. I want to look at dealing with our shadow selves, working on people in our lives we haven't spoken to in years, or different little things that have happened to us that we need to process, that we haven't really fully processed yet. So there's a lot of inner work in that sense. We're kind of moving, as one author says, from role to soul as we age. And dependency on others, giving some of our independence and interdependence over to others, which is another crisis area, I feel. Lastly, I'm going quickly here. Lastly, like we say on, like they say on the evening news, there's good news tonight. So at the end of tangling with all these challenging issues, I want to present a little bit about this new study on your brain on altruism, and about how great we feel when we are for others in our lives. So thank you for your time.
Joe, thank you so much. We're thrilled to welcome you to senior college and look forward to that class. I think Ray, did I lose Ray? Ray Ashameen, did he leave? I think he might have dropped off. He's wonderful. Right, Kara? He's not here. You don't see him. He is wonderful. He's very popular. So you look him up to see his class. Sorry that he must have had to pop off. Okay, so that would leave us then with Kristen Morgan.
Hi,
Welcome,
everyone.
Kristen.
Thank you, Jen. So I am teaching 2 courses this semester. The first one starts in September, and it is a book club study on my favorite novel of all time, which is Wuthering Heights. I don't know if you can even see this, but this is like my 30-year-old beat up copy. So we will be doing scheduled reading every single week and discussing that reading. It's a conversation-based class. The first class is going to be focusing just on the Victorian period, the Bronte family, and we'll be going over how to have a successful discussion via Zoom, because both of my classes are on Zoom. And so we'll spend a lot of time that first class going over the best way for us to communicate, because it is a different type and mode of communication. The second course I am offering this semester begins in October, also a Zoom class. This one is on Tuesday evenings. And this is a course that I taught my first semester at senior college. And then after that, people requested that I teach a part 2 and now a part 3. So we have a part 3 of writing your memoir. Even if you were not in parts 1 or 2, I encourage you to take the class. You don't have to have taken the prior 2 to get into this course. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. I hope to see you in my classes, and I hope you have a wonderful semester.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Kristen. We're thrilled to have you back. And what a gift it is to put pen to paper and write about your life. And that gift will live on for your children and grandchildren or other loved ones. So I wish my mom had done that. She did it a little tiny bit, and I treasure the little bits that I have from her and my grandmother. So thank you so much for offering that. Okay, Joe, I know you need to hop off, so if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, so we'll do Joe, then we have Maureen and April. Go ahead, Joe.
Morning, all. My name is Joe Nooms, and I will be teaching a class in physics this semester. I am a retired senior mechanical engineer, but prior to my engineering life, I was an adjunct faculty member at a college in New England, in Warwick, Rhode Island, teaching classes in manufacturing engineering and mechanical engineering and engineering management. I'm really looking forward to getting back into teaching a class in science, a class in physics, something that we use every day, but we don't know we're using it. So I want to bring out some of the things that we do, such as cooking. Everyone cooks, but how do we know what heat is being applied to the food? We all travel. When we get on an airplane, we want to make sure that the plane stays aloft. How does a plane get off the ground? How does a turbine engine work? These are the things that I want to discuss and show you. The everyday things that we do, what we take for granted, and we just don't look at them in a very scientific and methodical way to understand how it all works. And these are some of the things that I'm going to bring out to the class. The math that will be explained, I will do the explanation. There'll be no homework. I will show all the math and how we transform the formulas to get to the answer that we want to get at. Units of measure. The one thing that I want to talk about is going to be about heat and sound. Ubiquitously, everywhere we look, we find earbuds. But are those safe? to where are they safe to use? Because we know the speed of sound, we know the distance from that earbud to your eardrum, and I'm going to show you the math and how much time it takes for that sound to hit your eardrum. And is it safe to wear those earbuds in such a close proximity to your eardrum? These are some of the things that I want to bring up. We'll be talking about some Newtonian physics, the three laws of that, airfoils, air wings, the difference between a commercial aircraft versus a military aircraft. There are great differences on how they operate in the wing design, and we'll cover all of that. How do we cook our meals? What kind of energy do we use? We'll be talking a little bit on coal, oil, nuclear, and reusable solar, wind, and wave energy. Just touching the surface on the science level, we're not going to dwell that deeply into it. How the universe started, the Big Bang Theory, where are we going in the millions and billions of years from now? These are some of the subjects that we want to touch on, just to have our students to think about how their daily life takes. And we'll be doing all of that. The math, I will do. I want to reassure everyone, no heavy math. I'll take care of all of that. This is my first class with the college, and I'm really looking forward to teaching. The first two classes are already done. I've already prepared them. They're ready to go. I'm going to be starting working on the third class in another couple of days. Thank you, Jennifer. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Joe, we're so excited. I constantly get requests from people to do like hard science classes. I know in the past we had a physics class, I think taught by Ron. So I think this will be incredibly popular. I know, not to be gendered, but a lot of our male participants are, I think will be of interest to this. I know I'm interested in anytime I go on a plane, I'm like, wait, I should really look this up. Like, how did this thing get in the air? Like it's these things that we experience and we get really curious. And it's just so good for your brain to learn new things. Like synapses will be connecting in this class as they are in all our classes, and you'll be able to wow your friends and family with the new information that you learn in Joe's class. So thank you.
I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to it, Jennifer, because I haven't taught in a number of years because of my work, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I used physics throughout my entire working career as an engineer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yep.
We're excited to have you with all your real world experience. And okay, last but certainly not
Thank you.
least is Maureen Holbrook. Thank you, Maureen,
Oh,
for
I want to hear
hanging in
Maureen.
all this time.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oops, just mute yourself, Joe. All right, I gotcha. Maureen, welcome. Thank you.
Hola, Jennifer and Kara, and hola a todos. Me llamo Maureen Holbrook, and this is my second year teaching at BSU Senior College. I had a great year last year. My students were so much fun to work with. A little different from high school, which is where I used to teach. I was a teacher for about 15 years. At Whitman Hanson and then East Bridgewater High School, where I just recently retired. But the main difference between high school students and my students at BSU is that they actually asked for homework. So a little different for me, and I loved working with them. So I'm teaching two courses, and I'll be very quick. I start in October. I have a Spanish 1 introductory course and then a Spanish 1 part 2 for my returning students. But it's all very basic language skills. The Spanish 2 or part 2 will be a continuation of the Spanish 1 from last year, but it's lots of fun. I incorporate music, video. We do a lot of conversation. I want you all to be talking. That's how we learn. Very similar probably to what I think it was Alfred, the Italian professor. And so, all those kinds of things, conversation, listening, speaking, a little bit of writing, a little bit of homework. It's okay. So I start in October. I'll be at the Bridgewater Library And my first class is at 9:45 and the second one is at 11:45. So I look forward to seeing my returning students and some nuevos estudiantes. So, muchas gracias. Oh, and hola to Joe and Joe, because they were in my class last year.
Welcome, or thank you so much, Maureen. We're so thrilled to have you back in such an important class. I know our language classes are something I'm really proud of. That's something that we've cultivated over these years. And we had Ed Priest teaching for us, and he took some well-deserved time off to do some traveling. So we're so happy that we found you. You know, it's just amazing that we did, and to have you is really an important part of our program. So thank you for being here. So I just want to say also in the chat, I feel terrible that April had to leave. I wish she would have told me that she needed to. So April Brooks was here the whole duration, and she's teaching a very important course called Health Insurance Enigma, and it's designed to help you understand your health plan and how to navigate the system. It's so important, and I know that will be really useful information. She gave her own email address right there in the chat, so please go ahead and email her if you have any questions directly. And be sure to go on our website to read the full course description. But I just want to say, if you are still here, you get a gold star. You get 10 gold stars because you stayed with us an hour and 37 minutes. And I really appreciate your time and attention here with Senior College. I'm going to stop the recording here, but I'll stay on for a few minutes if anyone has any questions. So thank you so much and hope to see you this fall in Senior College.